Yo, welcome back to the channel. This is going to be a wake-up call that you probably needed. So you feel numb, angry for no reason. You feel like you can't trust people. You push people away, even the ones that care about you. But I'm not here to tell you that you're broken, because you're not. You were just taught how to survive like this, like every other man. And it's this one lie that's keeping you stuck. Well, here's the truth that changed everything for me. Well, I was raised in a household where it wasn't normal to show emotion. Well, the only emotion that was often shown was anger, frustration, and a lot of shame. And I'll be honest, my dad, he was someone who never showed any emotion, or other than, again, anger. And it took me a while to realize just how much this had affected me. Because let's be honest, as kids, we are literally sponges. We absorb all the information and all the emotion around us. And if, like me, you were raised in an environment where that didn't really show you a wide spectrum of emotions other than, just anger, maybe a bit of shame, maybe a bit of disgust. You didn't really grow up with a full repertoire of emotions and how to display them as a man. And this led to me learning to suppress my emotions. So I was always someone who wasn't able to show much emotion in general, whether that was, joy or sadness. I was always just in this weird, apathetic emptiness kind of stage. And I didn't really realize that something was off emotionally until I got into a relationship. So I got into my first serious relationship, which is the relationship I'm in right now, when I was around 18. And during this time of my life, I was really deeply entrenched in my beliefs that, this numbness was just who I was. This is just how I am. I always shut down. That's just me. I always avoid uncomfortable conversations. That's just me. I always try and, get away with kind of not always being there or trying to distract myself. That was just who I thought I was. And it wasn't until I got into this relationship, as I said, where I was able to really have a mirror for my behavior and understand that this wasn't normal. This didn't have to be me. And it all came to head when around 2 or 3 years into my relationship, I was confronted by my girlfriend at the time, who's now my fiance, and she just blatantly just told me, I don't feel loved by you. I don't feel appreciated by you. I don't feel like you're here. And I'll be honest, man, it really did sting, because I was oblivious. I thought everything was fine, because my standards of living and my standards of what fine was extremely low. I was fine with just surviving. I was living in survival mode, like most of us are as men. We're just trying to get through the day. We're not thinking of, how we can make each day better than the last one. We're just like, okay, keep your head down, go to work, come back from work, do what you gotta do, go to bed. That was my life. Well, I'll be honest, it was a bit worse than that. I'd wake up, go to work, just scrape by the day, barely do much work, and then come home and play video games. Literally, I'll just play video games just to distract myself from having to think and acknowledge that I wasn't happy. And this was something that I developed in my childhood. And it's because I was taught that I wasn't able to express my emotions, so I used gaming as a way to distract myself from my emotions. And you can replace gaming with whatever vice you have. It's quite likely that you developed this vice that you currently have now in your childhood. Maybe you were one of the kids that, started smoking really early, probably in your childhood, because you were trying to avoid some sort of emotion, some sort of feeling. Maybe you're one of the kids that your addiction was porn. Maybe you got into porn really young, and that was your vice to kind of distract you from your feelings and your sadness and your emptiness. And I'm hoping the wheels are starting to turn in your head right now. You're starting to realize, oh crap, maybe this is me. Maybe this random guy that I'm watching right now, maybe he understands what I've been through. It's because I suddenly realized that I was carrying pain and calling it my personality. I was carrying all this weight on me, and I got so used to it. It's almost like when when Rock Lee was fighting in the Shinobi tournament with his ankle weights on. I just thought that was me. I just had it on, and then it wasn't until I kind of released them and I was like, fuck, wow, I'm fast to tell. Like I can, I can really move. I feel lighter. That's probably a bit of a corny example, but it is what it is. I'm into anime, and yeah, I just think as men, when we understand that we don't have to carry this weight, we don't have to carry this shame, and this like, I don't know, this fake bravado that you just feel like the weights are just off, and life just feels enjoyable again. So what is the lie? What's the lie that I've been talking about? What's the lie that most men are told? The lie is that men don't need to heal. That real men just get on with it. That's the lie. And I'm sure you've probably told yourself this so many times, like just get on with it. Put your head down, just get on with it. And believe it or not, bro, this is a form of abuse. It is, plain and simple. You are abusing yourself. You're abusing yourself and calling it masculinity. You're abusing yourself and calling it the way it is. And that is why you have these vices, bro, because you're coping. You're using it to cope instead of allowing your emotions to come out. You're using drugs, you're using weed, you're using porn as an escape from your feelings. That is the elephant in the room for most of us men. I think if men had to sit down with themselves with no vices, nothing for like a week, they'd all come to this conclusion. I've been using these things to avoid feeling my emotions. Simple as that. Because I fear my emotions. As men, we're taught to be afraid of feeling. Because once you feel, you're now in the realm of not being a real man. Once you show your feelings that aren't anger, then yeah, now you're vulnerable to be seen as who you truly are, a human. It's almost like we're taught to be these, I don't know, these unhuman beings who are just emotionless and completely stoic, and we can just deal with everything. That's a fantasy. And a lot of the time this comes from our parents, this comes from our fathers a lot. Even if you, for example, like me, had a father who wasn't really very active in your life, but they were kind of just passively there and they didn't really, put much effort into you, it kind of makes you feel like, okay, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I wasn't worth it. Maybe you've got a father who was absent completely. And now you're thinking, oh wow, okay, I didn't have an example of what it means to be a man at all. I don't know what it looks like to healthily show my emotions as a man. Let me just shut them off. Or maybe you were raised by a father who was like a helicopter parent, who was always over your shoulder telling you what to do, like do this, do that. And now you feel like, I don't know who I am. These emotions are kind of alien to me because I was never, taught how to feel them. I was just taught what to do. I was just taught what to say. I was taught how to act. And that's what it is, it's act. Masculinity, being a man, is act. We're literally just taught, act this way, this is what men do. This is the rule book of masculinity. Do this. A lot of us think that without this book that we've been given, without these lines, without these rules we've been given, without that, we don't know who we are. That's the fear. That if I throw away this book, that I'm throwing away everything. And that's the lie. You're more than just a man. You're a human. And you're more than a human. You have a soul. You have a spirit. You have an energy. You have an aura about you. You have things that you care and love. You care about, things you love. And that's okay. That's all right. There's no shame in that. Because when you live through your life burying your emotions, like when you bury this like grief, this shame, this guilt that you have, it just leaks out. It leaks out in anger, leaks out in addiction, leaks out in numbness. And as someone who's experienced all three of these at different parts of my life, I can tell you it's not worth it. It is always better to really sit with your emotions and allow yourself to actually feel them. Not to like marinate in them and just sit in them and be like, oh yeah, I feel like shit, let me just feel like shit all day. It's not that. It's to accept, okay, I'm going to allow myself to feel this, but I'm not going to allow it to decide what I do with my life. I'm not going to allow it to decide what I do with my day. That's all I'm asking. Once you allow yourself to even acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge these weaknesses that we think we have, that's when you actually build real strength, not when you're just trying to ignore them completely. That's just avoidance. And the reason that this lie is so damaging is because it trains us as men to be disconnected from ourselves. It trains us to be alien to ourselves. It trains us to literally betray ourselves on a daily basis. On a daily basis, there's men around the world betraying their actual true wants and desires in order to just have the idea that I'm a man because I'm getting on with it. That's what we do, right? We experience horrible things and we just get on with it. We don't acknowledge it, we just get on with it. It's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. And anyone that's telling you that, anyone that's telling you to get on with it, anyone who's telling you to just keep quiet, keep it to yourself, move on, they're not on your team. That's the enemy. That is our enemy. The people, maybe even your friends, your colleagues, your family, people in your life that are saying, oh, you know, you're too emotional, or like you shouldn't express yourself this way, you shouldn't. No, fuck those people. Literally, they don't care about you. All they care about is your performance. All they care about is what they can benefit from you. That is it. Because if they actually cared about you, they'd want you to be a healthy, fulfilled person. And part of that is being in touch with your emotions. Simple as that. Because what's happened is that we built so much shame around our vulnerability and around our true essence as humans that we feel like we're not allowed to be ourselves. There's too much shame as men. We live by shame. We almost like addicted to this feeling of shame. Every like red pill guy, sorry to shit on the red pill, but every red pill guy, they are ran by shame. A lot of the reasons that they present themselves in the way they do is because they're ashamed. They're ashamed of who they used to be. And they're trying to overcompensate that now by going the whole other direction. A lot of these guys used to be losers in school. A lot of these guys used to get bullied, and now they're thinking, all right, I'm going to turn into a bully now. I'm going to turn into the people that hurt me. And that's the absolute worst way to be. Because the truth is you can't heal if you don't allow yourself to feel. You can't heal if you don't allow yourself to feel. And if you were taught to never feel anything, then you're going to be stuck in survival mode forever. Because healing isn't weakness. It's not weakness to be someone who's into healing themselves. It's the opposite. It's literally rebellion. You're rebelling against everyone that's tried to silence you. That's why I'm so passionate about this. I want everyone to rebel against all this shit that's trying to fuck us over. All these systems, all these people, all these messages are trying to contain us and put us into these little boxes. I want us to rebel against it. Because none of it is here to benefit us. It's all here to control us. And this shift starts from deciding that you don't want to sit in this numbness anymore. That you're tired and you're finished. And you're done with living in survival mode. You're done with just trying to get by. Fuck getting by. I want to enjoy my life. I want to be fulfilled. I want to wake up every day and actually be excited for what I'm going to do that day. And that part of being able to get there and where I am today, where I'm actually excited about my life, is because I had to go through the times of hardship and actually look back on them and feel the pain, feel the grief, go through that process. That's the only way. You don't get better from running away. You don't get better from avoiding it. You get better from going directly at the pain, understanding it and healing from it. And that's something that I stand by. That's a hill that I'm willing to die on. So as a man, if you're tired of pretending, you're not alone. Join us. I'm on a mission to open the minds of men across the world to finally understand their worth and their ability and the fact they don't have to play by the rules, especially if the rules aren't to their favor. So if you do want to join us, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below and send this to a friend that needs to hear it. Appreciate you, man. Speak to you soon. Keep turning your pain into purpose. You got this.